Like, you're fighting Justin Gaethje, you're gonna smell what it feels like to maybe possibly die. I mean, the Justin Gaethje in the beginning has metamorphosed into something bigger. You know, he uses his kicks as jabs. Like, he's literally kicking you like if it was an actual jab. But he also finds that good range of distance to where he's keeping you at bay until maybe he can switch it up and then maybe go question mark kick. I like this fight. I would have preferred to see Dan the Cheap Hooker fight Justin Gaethje, but that's not the case. But either way, it's a banger every time Justin Gaethje does fight. What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Tell the Tape. I'm your host, Henry Cejudo, aka Triple C, and on today's episode, I'm going to be breaking down the highlight Justin Gaethje versus Rafael Fiziev. Guys, this is the second coming of this fight. Obviously, we had that fight against Dan the Cheap Hooker, but that ended up not taking place. So this is a rematch, and this is very ballsy of a guy like Fiziev to be able to take that fight because, man, that first fight, they got beat up. But either way, guys, this episode is brought to you by the one and only Tops. Guys, you may hate them, you may love them, but guess what, guys? You can make money off of them. So you guys make sure to go to Tops.com and get their damn trading card. Here we have it, man. The Tell the Tape, Justin Gaethje, 25-5 versus Rafael Fiziev. Is it Fiziev or Fiziev? I know people say kind of both things, but I'm gonna say Rafael Fiziev. 12-3, losing to Justin Gaethje. I know he lost to Gamrot, and I forget who the other loss was. And against an experienced opponent like Justin Gaethje, who has fought the who's from Khabib, Dustin Poirier, Charles Oliveira. Oof, he's fought everybody. He's fought everybody under the sun, and don't ever underestimate this dude. Out of his 25 fights, he's got 20 KOs. I mean, that's crazy. I mean, guys, to have that and only 4 decisions out of all that, Jesus, man. Talk about a risk taker with 1 submission. I'm curious to see what submission that was for Justin Gaethje. In other words, now we have Rafael Fiziev, who is 8-3-1, 8 KOs, 3 decision, the slicker striker, but maybe doesn't produce that same power or as big of a risk taker as what Justin Gaethje is. You know, 5'11" for the highlight. You know, he's got the height advantage, and obviously, ironically, the reach advantage goes to Rafael. Not just that, man, but you know, he's one of those old schoolers. And then also Fiziev at the age of 31, he's got the age advantage. And it's not even necessarily the age, you know what it is? It's the recovery. When you're a little younger, you're able to recover a lot quicker, and particularly in between rounds. Yeah. Let's talk about the highlight. What are Justin Gaethje's strengths? Lights out. His power, dude. Justin Gaethje's power is no joke, man. I mean, you talk about that crazy-ass leg kick that he caught Dustin Poirier with. I mean, you think of all those uppercuts and just the power that he's able to produce, what he was able to do to a guy like Tony Ferguson. I mean, he completely changed that dude's career, where Tony wasn't the same after that fight. But to me, in my opinion, his greatest gift is those damn calf kicks. And ironically, as many kicks that he did throw to Max Holloway, I'm surprised that Max Holloway didn't go down. It says a lot about Max. But other than that, man, his low kicks, he breaks the foundation. And he'll cover too. So even when he'll throw, like, he'll literally do this. Like, he'll cover his face because he knows he's in the line of fire. And then he's whipping that kick and really hurting people. And I think this is one thing that I will say about Justin Gaethje, where things that are kind of underrated for him. You know, he does move his head. He does go high-low. And I think that's one thing that people tend to underestimate. And not just that, but he's an expert at adapting and making adjustments mid-fight. I mean, the Justin Gaethje in the beginning has metamorphosed into something bigger, into something greater. We saw him wrestle. We saw him take down Fiziev in those last 10 seconds of that match. We saw him pick up those, take down Michael Chandler. We saw him defensively doing roll-throughs. So these are things where I feel like Justin Gaethje, with time, he's become a little more composed, and he's able to really pick his shot rather than just going through a bar fight like we typically in the beginning, how we used to see Justin. Yeah, but without further ado, let's talk about his weaknesses. He's coming off a bad KO loss, and not just that. Obviously, he did get knocked out by Max Holloway. Those last 10 seconds. Which other than that, I really didn't see that. That fight was like, I didn't feel like he took too much damage until the very end, and that's what changed everything. But not just that, guys, but he's been through wars, man. Like, you're fighting Justin Gaethje, you're gonna smell what it feels like to maybe possibly die, and he feels that all the damn time. And that's why he's saying, hey guys, you guys are not gonna see me that much longer. Like, I don't know how long I can do this before it really affects my damn health or my brain. And one of his weaknesses is he struggles to get off of his back. We talk about with Khabib, and we talk about with Charles Oliveira. Like, when Justin does go to his back, I felt like in the past he's been lost. Could that be different now? I hope so. And it typically tends to happen with the wrestler who typically is the aggressor, typically tends to dominate. But when you're off your back, dude, it just changes the game a little bit. And this is one thing that I will bring up. If you go back and watch that Michael Johnson fight, Michael Johnson was able to catch Justin Gaethje with the uppercuts, because Justin Gaethje will do this, but remember, those little MMA gloves, that's enough, dude. This is maybe enough to block, but we have anywhere between a 4 to 6 inch rule where these punches could actually get in. And not just that, but this is Justin, dude. We talk about it all the time. He's like, and hopefully his mentality and his training has changed a little bit, but man, he doesn't utilize his wrestling. This dude's an All-American. His senior year at Northern Colorado University, he was able to become an All-American, which says a lot about him. But will he use it in this fight against a guy like Rafael? Because Rafael, if he's sharp and he's able to stay composed, it could be a different fight this time around. Yeah, without further ado, let's talk about Rafael. What's Rafael's nickname? Does he have a nickname?
Ataman. A-T-A-M-A-N.
Ataman. What does that mean? You don't know? Okay, so it's probably somewhere in Eastern Europe stuff. What are his strengths? He does have a raw strength and explosiveness. He's a real explosive fighter. Like, when he first fought Justin Gaethje, it's his hips, dude. It's his twitchiness. It's his ability of creating strikes through his setups. I've done breakdowns on him. He's very unique with that stuff and the way he closes distance. But obviously, I do have to say his lethal switch kicks. Like, he's boom. There's not a lot of guys that are probably faster than him pound for pound in any weight class than Rafael Fiziev when it comes to actual switch kicks. And he uses his kicks as jabs. Like, he's literally kicking you like if it was an actual jab. And I feel like when somebody's able to do that, like, they understand the game, dude, because it may not hurt effectively, but he also finds that good range of distance to where he's keeping you at bay until maybe he can switch it up and then maybe go question mark kick. And this could be a plus and this could be a minus, but he's not afraid of a firefight. Against Justin Gaethje, especially the fact that he did lose his last fight to him, it may not be a bad idea for this guy, and particularly because Justin has lost and Justin has gone through those firefights where it could get him in trouble.
You want to know about his nickname?
Sure.
So it's Ataman, which means commander or leader, and it comes from when he was a child and he stood up to bullies. So he got beaten up by other boys. One day he stood up to them. His father asked him who Ataman was, and Fiziev didn't know the word. But then his father started calling him Ataman because he stood up for himself against the bullies. And Gaethje's a bully, so he's got to stand up to a bully in this one.
Wow, I will say this. Could Ataman stick up for the bully? And that's the biggest question that we all have. But let's talk about his weaknesses. coming off an injury, a torn ACL. I mean, that's hard, dude. You know what I'm saying? Like, you come back from injury like that. And obviously, I want to say his last fight was against Gamrot, and he ended up losing that. I wasn't, honestly, I mean, I thought this was one of the most dangerous guys, but when it comes to that, the grappling may be a problem there. And that's what I'm talking about, his damn takedown defense. But could that long layoff and him, the fact that he hasn't won since 2022, and that probably shouldn't say anything either, but could that be an effect on him? You know? And then the last thing, because he will stick up to those bullies, he leaves his body open to damage. He leans back. When you lean back, if you do this, Justin Gaethje, he is hunting for those leg kicks. So every time he does this, could Justin Gaethje memorize and understand that movement, fake him, and then boom, kick his damn legs. Yeah, but here we have it. Our stats. Strikes landed per minute, 6.78. In other words, he's a risk taker. To 4.90. Strikes absorbed per minute because he throws less. Obviously, he's got it here, right? Takedown accuracy, wow. Because Justin Gaethje, even though he's a wrestler, he doesn't shoot that much. But he's got double, close to double of takedown accuracy than a guy like Justin Gaethje. Takedown defense. Wow, I wasn't expecting this. 89%. 89%. I think a lot of that stuff dropped against Gamrot. Knockout average, obviously, Justin Gaethje. You know what? I like this too because then you kind of get a visual of more likely the numbers don't lie of where this fight could actually take place. But I like this fight. I would have preferred to see Dan the Cheap Hooker fight Justin Gaethje, but that's not the case. Or I would have preferred to see maybe Justin Gaethje fight against a Charles Oliveira, somebody to really step up, or an Ilia Topuria, but somebody. But I wasn't expecting this. But either way, it's a banger every time Justin Gaethje does fight, and we all have to agree. But if I have to look at the landscape, could he out-bully the bully? I just don't think so, man. I think Justin, the fact that he hurt him that first time, and when you fight Justin, man, Justin tends to rip and take people's souls with them. Is he the same fighter? I just don't think so. I just think the highlight is too damn good. You know what Justin Gaethje, you guys know what Justin Gaethje is talking about? He's making his last run to become a UFC champion. You know, he says, if I do lose this fight, this could be it for him. Like he already sees it, man. He's like, dude, I'm 36. I don't know how long I can do this. Obviously, age is just a number, but the fact that Gaethje fights like this, and I do believe that with the great performance for a guy like the highlight, for a guy like Justin Gaethje, he could. The UFC will skip Ilia Topuria or make him fight the #1 contender and do what's right, and then give it to a guy like Justin Gaethje with a vicious victory. But that is yet to be known this Saturday, live on pay-per-view. And this episode is brought to you by the one and only Tops. You may hate them, you may love them, but guess what, guys? They have damn training cards. So you guys make sure to go to Tops.com and get your memorabilia. Triple C is out!